President Zelensky says Russia's much-anticipated large-scale offensive in the eastern Donbas region of Ukraine is underway. Yesterday, the head of Ukraine's National Security Council said Moscow had tried to break through defences in the Donetsk, Luhansk and Kharkiv regions. Alexei Goncharenko is a Ukrainian MP. He says his country's troops will fight for the Donbas.
I am sure that they are ready, now even more than at the beginning. Saw all these atrocities from our enemy. We know how cruel and unhuman and barbaric is our enemy, and we realize that the only way for us to survive is to win. So it's existential threat, it's to be or not to be.
The leader of the last Ukrainian soldiers in the devastated port of Mariupol has urged world leaders to arrange safe passage for civilians sheltering at a giant steelworks. Officials say 1,000 people have taken refuge in bunkers and tunnels. The Pentagon spokesman John Kirby says Mariupol still hasn't fallen, despite a pounding from Russia.
The fighting in Mariupol, as you guys have all seen, continues. The Ukrainians are still resisting. The city has not fallen to the Russians, but they continue to pound it from the air and through long-range fires.
The International Monetary Fund is expected to sharply downgrade forecasts for global economic growth later, in part because of the conflict in Ukraine. Finance ministers and central bankers from around the world are gathering in the US to assess the damage Russia's invasion is causing. Boris Johnson will face MPs today for the first time since he was fined for breaking lockdown laws. The Prime Minister is expected to apologise again, but he will also urge the Commons to focus on wider issues. Opposition parties insist he misled Parliament by saying all rules had been followed in Downing Street. The Transport Secretary, Grant Shapps, rejected that accusation.
He didn't knowingly appreciate that stepping into the room there was going to be something which breached the rules, given that he'd been in the room with exactly the same people for official meetings earlier in the day. It was wrong. He's apologised. He's accepted the fixed penalty notice, and we move on.
5 men have been arrested under the Terrorism Act following an Easter parade in Londonderry linked to dissident Republicans. Police were also attacked with petrol bombs during their operation at the city's cemetery in Derry. The White House says passengers will no longer have to wear a face mask on public transport in the US after a federal judge ruled the requirement was unlawful. The judge, who was appointed by Donald Trump, said health officials had exceeded their legal powers. And transport campaigners have welcomed a temporary discount on train tickets across the UK as ministers attempt to attract customers back to the railways. The Great British Rail Sale will see many off-peak ticket prices reduced by as much as half in April and May.